Why a Pisces may ignore you or cut you off. Specifically, why a Pisces woman or a Pisces man may ignore you or cut you off. Let's get into it. Well, Pisces have a way of shutting things down in a very passive aggressive kind of way. They can be very passive aggressive kind of people, but don't get it twisted. They can have a side to them where they can be extremely aggressive, if pushed to the limit, right? But, reining it in, Pisces are very passive aggressive people. So one way they shut something down is by ignoring it, ignoring a person, and cutting them off or cutting the situation off. That is one way that they will shut a situation down, shut a person down. So they may be shutting you down as a way of ignoring you or cutting you off. Just so maybe they don't go over the edge, you don't go over the edge, the situation doesn't go over the edge, someone else doesn't go over the edge. They kind of, it's kind of a self-protective mechanism, but it's also a way of putting up a boundary without stating that boundary. They can be really kind of, interesting with that, Pisces. By the way, I'm not talking about just Pisces Sun. I'm talking about Pisces Moon, Pisces Rising, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, first through 12th house, North Node, I said Saturn, North Node, South Node, Chiron, Vesta, and all those placements in between. Basically, if you have Pisces in your chart, this reading is for you, okay? And if you have no idea what I just said, you should probably get a birth chart reading. And if you do know what I just said, still get a birth chart reading from me on my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com. I am an astrologer as well as a psychic tarot reader, so I can read your tarot cards as well as your birth chart or natal chart, and I would love to read for you. So check out my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com, purchase your reading, and within 24 hours or sooner, I will send you an email confirmation letting you know I received your payment, and then within 1 to 3 days or sooner, typically it's sooner, we will get your reading done ASAP, as soon as possible. They can also ignore you or cut you off as a way of making you feel inferior. Pisces are very gentle creatures. They don't like hurting anyone's feelings. They don't like starting a fight. They don't like big, confrontations. They're just not those types of people for the most part. There are those Pisces who can definitely be confrontational. Maybe mixed with like an Aries energy on the Aries cusp or something like that. I don't know. But nonetheless, they can ignore you or cut you off as a way of making you feel inferior, as a way of kind of cutting you down to size so you don't have an opportunity to make them feel inferior or feel your own oats for some reason. It's kind of like a leveling, it's kind of like a tool for Pisces, or like a game for Pisces, I guess, the whole ignoring and cutting one off thing, to gain power basically. But it's also a protective mechanism to kind of avoid predators, if that makes sense. And when I say that, I mean in the sense of like, think of animals that have natural protective mechanisms that protect them from predators. Like an armadillo has all those like prickly things on it that protects it from predators. When a predator's around, it just kind of rolls up in a ball, and then unless that predator wants to get poked, gets a eye poked out, they don't mess with that armadillo. That's kind of how Pisces is with their ignoring and cutting one off situation sometimes. It's like a self-protective mechanism, but it's also a way of letting you know you're not all that. Like, you can't really gain control over me, or like, gain control over the situation. Like, simmer down a bit, have several seats, basically. Interestingly enough, a Pisces may ignore you, or mainly ignore you, not really cut you off, but they may ignore you. If they're to the extreme with this, they may cut you off, but they may be doing it because they're really, really shy. They feel really, really insecure for some reason. It could be you that makes them feel insecure, whatever you're offering that makes them feel insecure. Sometimes Pisces can have this thing where they just let the fear overtake them. Like, you could put like a Pisces dream in front of them, like, I'm offering you a all expense paid trip to wherever you want, and I'm offering you this and that. I'm offering you $1 million. I'm offering you, a record contract, and like a Pisces will like ignore it. Like, a Pisces will like cut it off and be like, like, that's no way. Like, like, That's how they sometimes deal with situations. Not the healthiest, but once again, it's a self-protective mechanism, and they stick to their guns when they feel something in their bones. Like, they stick to it. Like, if they made up something in their mind, like if they're thinking the worst, like, oh my gosh, if I sign that record contract, oh, I'm gonna, be famous, and then, this and that's gonna happen. But it's on that Pisces perception. And right now I'm getting into a totally different video, but nonetheless, these may be some reasons why a Pisces may ignore you. They may just be insecure or a little bit shy. So kind of be gentle, like, be patient. Can you tell I'm a 7th house in Pisces? I have a lot to say about this topic. By the way, if you're wondering what 7th house is in astrology, that is the house of relationships, one-on-one relationships, our business partnerships, also our first marriage. So if you want to know what that's about, get a birth chart reading from me. A Pisces may very well ignore you or cut you off because they may be mad at you. You may have done something to kind of piss them off, make them upset, and they're ignoring you either as a way to get you back, they're cutting you off as a way to get you back, or they may just be doing it as a way to protect the situation from escalating further. Pisces can actually be very mouthy when they're mad. Don't get it twisted. Just because they're gentle and nice for the most part doesn't mean that they won't get you together, alright? It's interesting. They can sometimes use the silent treatment, the ignoring treatment, the cutoff, as a way to fight back, but also as a way to defend, themselves. Or defend the ones that they love, depending on the situation, right? So they may be mad, they may be a little bit angry, and they may need some time. They may never talk to you again, depending on the situation. It really depends. But most of the times, if there is some anger associated with the Pisces cutting you off or ignoring you, you might want to give that Pisces some space to kind of think things through, to process some things emotionally, intuitively, spiritually, and then come back to you. Maybe in about 7 business days or more. That Pisces may just want to be alone, to be honest. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune rules solitude. It also rules the connection to the spirit world. It rules also creativity. Neptune also rules our hidden strengths and weaknesses, our private affairs. So a lot of times Pisces like to be alone in their private worlds, and they don't like to be bothered. So sometimes, when it comes to that type of thing, you can't necessarily take it personally. We all like our alone time, most of us. And Pisces need that. They're very social creatures. They're very, kind of intuitive, spiritual creatures, always having their feelers out. And that gets exhausting. So sometimes they need to pull it back. They need to recharge their batteries, and they'll get back to you once again in a few business days. Don't push it, or they may not get back to you. Alright? Give them that space. They need it. They may, for some reason, be suspicious of you or not trust you. So they may ignore you or cut you off. Pisces are the types of people who are, kind of like, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on you, and it's kind of like the 3-strike system. Sometimes it's the 2-strike system, but, if you get more than 2 strikes or more, typically you're out with the Pisces, and it's hard to get back into their good graces, and sometimes you never know what you did to get the strikes in the first place, but you have to take that L sometimes, and once again, give them the space to warm up to you once again. These are some reasons why Pisces may ignore you. Let me know what you think in the comments below, why you think a Pisces may ignore someone or cut someone off. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Remember, if you would like a personal psychic tarot reading from me, or an astrology birth chart reading from me, natal chart reading from me, I would love to read for you. I am available for reading, so purchase your reading right now, and you'll get your reading within 1 to 3 days or sooner. Alright, with that being said, make sure you subscribe, like this video, hit the bell next to the subscribe button so you get a notification whenever I go live, and you get a notification every time I go live when those 2 bars show up on the bell, okay, at the top of the bell. Make sure you also check out my social media pages. The links are in the description box below. Instagram is at Lamarr Townsend. Facebook's Lamarr Townsend Tarot. Check out my ebook, Zodiac Sign Sex Language, available on Amazon, and my singles on all music streaming services, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple, iTunes, Tidal, and more. Both singles are on Block Me and Forbidden Fruit. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Love and light.